This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com and GatheringMagic.com, your place to explore the game.
Hey, this is Rowe, and this is my Mizzix of the Izmagnus deck. Okay, so here's my commander, Mizzix. He says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost greater than the number of experience counters you have, you get an experience counter. And instants and sorceries cost one less to cast for each experience counter you have. A few things about the deck before I start. The entire deck is instants and sorceries. I wanted to have a creatureless deck. Thought that'd be a fun restriction, besides Mizzix, obviously. And it's also budget, so I know that it's not optimized, it doesn't have the best lands, and there's cards that can really help it out, like Reiterate or Force of Will, that aren't in here because I didn't optimize it, and I wanted it to be fun. So I have 11 mountains, 13 islands, okay. Izzet Guildgate, Izzet Boilerworks, Swiftwater Cliffs, the two Vivids, Vivid Creek and Vivid Crag, Tolaria West, which will go and get either your Glacial Chasm or Reliquary Tower, Spinerock Knoll. As you'll see, there's a lot of ways, a lot of X spells to deal damage, so you can get a free spell cast off that. Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse. Command Tower, of course. There's Glacial Chasm. This one says that creatures you control can't attack, which is not a big deal. You're not going to be doing that anyway. And prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. If you get this out early, it's a good way to stave off the hordes in the beginning of the game that can get you in trouble. So there's Reliquary Tower. No maximum hand size is great in this deck. We'll start with draw spells. I've got Jace's Ingenuity, 3 blue. It's nice because it hopefully just costs blue, and it is an instant. Instants are much better in this deck, as you'll see, because of the counter spells. Inspiration, Brainstorm, Weave Fate. Steady Progress has Proliferate on it, which will increase your experience counters. So the cards that say Proliferate are wonderful. Gitaxian Probe is a sorcery, but it's essentially free, and a good first spell to get that first experience counter. Foresee, Treasure Cruise. So this is nice because it's got two ways to reduce the cost. You can use Mizzix's experience ability, or you can delve. Train of Thought has Replicate, so you can potentially draw multiple cards off that. Preordain, another good early spell to get your first experience counter. Tezzeret's Gambit is one of the best spells in this deck because you draw 2 cards and then proliferate, so you're essentially, for 3 and 2 life, drawing 2 cards and probably putting 2 experience counters on Mizzix, which is nice. Whispers of the Muse is great because buyback can be reduced, or it can be paid for using Mizzix's reduce ability. So if you have 5 experience counters for 1 blue, you can draw a card and you get the spell back. Concentrate. Think Twice. Flashback, also you can use the experience counters to cheapen that. Blue Sun Zenith is a great way to draw a lot of cards, or if you have a whole lot of experience counters, you can draw somebody out. Same with Stroke of Genius, both at instant speed, which is nice. Past in Flames, great for storming out and comboing, recasting all your spells. Mystic Retrieval will get an instant or sorcery back, kind of like card draw, because you're going to have a lot of cards in your graveyard, and you can get it back, and then you can do it again. Call to Mind. Firemind's Foresight is nice. Search your library for 3 instants, a 3, a 2, and a 1. You can get yourself your Capsize, your Cyclonic Rift, any of that stuff. That's really good. Rewind is nice because it costs basically blue if you have 2 experience counters, and then you untap 4 lands. So you can net mana. Mystic Confluence came in the precon, but is a really great counterspell. Mana Leak combined with a bounce and a draw card, and you get to choose 3, and you can choose the same mode twice. That is really nice. I like Remand. I like the draw card on it. A lot of cantrips in here, you'll see. It's good to keep the cards flowing in this deck. Also X spells. So if you have 7 experience counters, you pay blue for Spell Blast. They have to pay 7 mana, or it counters the spell. Arcane Denial. Card draw and counter. Another one of those. That's nice. Power Sink, same as Spell Blast. Aether Snatch came in the precon box. I don't think I've cast this spell when I've played this deck yet. It seems interesting though. It seems neat. Kind of a spelljack type effect. Muddle the Mixture is good because it counters instants and sorceries, but also you can transmute it to go find your Cyclonic Rift. Exclude. Counter target creature spell and draw card. That's very good. Scatter Arc. Counter target non-creature spell and draw a card. Also good. Syncopate. Another X counter spell. Dismiss just counters any spell and you draw a card. So with 2 experience counters, it's just counterspell with a cantrip, which is nice. Fuel for the Cause. Counter target spell, then Proliferate. Again, Proliferate is great in this deck. Overwhelming Intellect. For countering and drawing some more. And another X counterspell in Condescend. Radiate is a great spell in this deck and can cause a lot of silliness. If you Chaos Warp everything or combine it with Temporal Fissure, you can create your own upheaval, and that's fun. Everybody likes that. Blasphemous Act, good sweeper. 2 ways to reduce the cost. One with Mizzix, one if there's the other if there's enough creatures on the battlefield, you can reduce it, and then it'll deal 13 to everything. All Is Dust is a great spell because it's colorless. You can, if with 7 counters on your experience, you can cast this for free, and it'll destroy everything. And Scour from Existence will exile any 1 target permanent, hopefully for free. So there's Chaos Warp to deal with like the enchantments and the stuff that an Izzet deck can have a hard time with. Volt Charge, 3 damage to a creature or player, and Proliferate. The Proliferate again, real nice. Red Sun Zenith is an X spell, so with a bunch of experience counters, you just pay red and deal a bunch of damage. Big win con in this deck is just flaming people out with your burn spells. Comet Storm, another one. Multi-kicker on this means that you can potentially get multi-kills with it, which is nice. Magma Quake deals with all the creatures on the board. I don't love the sweepers just because Mizzix gets swept up in it, and it can be hard to recast him as he gets out of range, as he gets his commander attacks higher and higher. But that's kind of a release valve right there. Rolling Thunder, great X spell. Volcanic Geyser, just another one, but it's at instant speed, which makes this one really nice. Devil's Play is nice because it has flashback, so you can do that multiple times. I've killed people with this and then gotten another player out of the game with the flashback. Fireball, the original. Okay, Prophetic Bolt. For blue-red, 4 damage to a creature player, and grab a card out of your top 4 is nice. Electrolyze, it's good, it's got the cantrip on it. And Grape Shot, one of my favorite ways to kill people, if you can get a high storm count and deal a bunch of damage with this. Hopefully they're already hurt. Hopefully you've been casting your X spells for just red mana, and then you can finish them off with this one. That's very fun. Vandal Blast destroys pesky artifacts that your opponents control. There's none in this deck, so it doesn't really matter that it says your opponents, but It does. Smash, destroy an artifact, draw a card. Curse of the Swine. Good way to deal with creatures in blue. Repeal. Bounce spell with a cantrip. Again, that's perfect. Aetherize. Return all attacking creatures to their owner's hand for 3 in a blue, but hopefully just a blue. And this is good because people are going to come at you, and you can send them back to the hand. Cyclonic Rift is great. Capsize is really great. Once again, with buyback, you can just keep capsizing things. Temporal Fissure, another storm card, returns a permanent, so it can be a land, to its owner's hand. So if you build up the storm count, you can send their lands back to their hand. That's very fun. Part the Water Veils, only take an extra turn in this deck. I know that Time Stretch would probably be better, or some of the other ones, but I got this at the pre-release for Battle for Zendikar and thought I'd give it a try. Write a Replication. It's great. Find the biggest thing on the board and have 5 of them. Blatant Thievery lets you take stuff from all your opponents. I usually play with 4 or 5 people, so that can be pretty fun. And Insurrection takes everything. If the board's getting out of control and you're not in trouble yet, you do this and you can win. Thanks for watching CMDR decks. Please subscribe and favorite.